The second TREMEC Stick Shift Shootout and all-female True Street Showdown of 2024 was filled with fierce competition, exciting drag action, and a few surprises. Competitors in both classes competed under True Street rules, including a street drive to show street worthiness of the cars. On Saturday, immediately following the street cruise, competitors pulled into the staging lanes to make 3 back-to-back passes. The average elapsed times of these 3 passes determined their placements in each class. And the quickest 8 stick shift-equipped cars qualified for the TREMEC Stick Shift Shootout, plus 2 alternates. In addition to racing for glory and prizes of this event, competitors in the TREMEC Stick Shift Shootout are also in the running for the first ever Stick Shift Shootout Championship ring. In TREMEC all-female True Street class, Gabby Lujan won all 3 competitions in 2023, making her the one to beat in this class. Gabby and Kimberly Walter faced off in the 3rd round time trials at this particular race, but the blower belt broke on Gabby's Mustang. Kimberly pulled off 3 full, strong passes, taking the top spot in the TREMEC all-female True Street Showdown with an average ET of 8.769 seconds, and was excited to land in the winner's circle as the overall winner. The action in the TREMEC Stick Shift Shootout started in Saturday's True Street passes. Alex Martinez came from Florida with his 9-second Mustang, but mechanical issues during the True Street time trials kept him from qualifying. Danny Adair qualified for the shootout with a 9.358 average, but found engine coolant in the engine bay after his last time trial run. This allowed first alternate Dennis Osworth to qualify for the shootout. The 8 competitors in this TREMEC Stick Shift Shootout were Kyle Miller, who was a low qualifier with an average ET of 9.109 seconds, Jeff Smith, the only other racer in the 9s, Cyrus Hutchinson, Chris Rush, Scott Triolo, Curtis Pontones, and 2 racers with 11-second ET averages, Dennis Osworth and Eric McNutt. Pairing for the TREMEC Stick Shift Shootout eliminations runs is done by random chip draw. The first round pitted 2 early Fox Body Mustangs against each other. Scott in his 1985 Mustang against Eric in his 1986. Eric had the head start advantage, but Scott easily made up ground and passed Eric by the 1,000-foot mark. In the next round, Curtis and his 2003 Cobra matched off against Cyrus and his 2014 Mustang GT. Cyrus had a slight head start off the line, but Curtis cut a much quicker reaction time, erasing the head start advantage and taking the win. Low ET qualifier Kyle raced against Dennis next, with the largest spread in the staggered starts. Kyle ran a clean pass, but just couldn't close the gap on Dennis. The final pairing in this first round elimination saw multi-time TREMEC Stick Shift Shootout winner Jeff put Chris on the trailer. The second round of eliminations pulled Jeff into the staging beams against Scott. Both drivers nailed the tree with good reaction times, and both were running quicker times than their True Street averages, making this anyone's race. Jeff was closing the gap on Scott near the end of the track, but Scott would still cross the finish line first. Next, Dennis ran against Curtis with about a 1-second head start, but the race was over as soon as it started with Curtis red lighting, and the final showdown brought Scott into the staging beams against Dennis. Dennis's average gave him a 0.79-second head start over Scott, but it wasn't enough to keep Scott from reeling him in and taking home the win.
Scott, you just won your 3rd time in a row here, TREMEC Stick Shift Shootout at Norwalk, Ohio. How does that feel?
And it feels great. Honestly, I wasn't expecting it, but it was an excellent surprise, so worked hard for it.
Tell me a little bit about the field that you were facing this time.
Honestly, it's probably the fastest field I've been in. Honestly, I knew I had to push it hard.
Any changes in the car from last year?
Honestly, the only thing was just down in the suspension a little bit more and just a little bit more nitrous. That was it.
That's awesome. It was great watching you run. The car just works well. You've got this car down pat. Do you have any advice for other stick shift shootout or just stick shift drag racers?
Honestly, it's not just a power, it's a suspension as well. So you have to have your suspension dialed in. And the biggest thing when you're going up, you have to be cool. Don't get psyched out. Look at your light. Don't pay attention to the other light. Just go.
That's awesome. You're going to be back next year, of course, to see if you can make it 4 times in a row.
Absolutely, I will.
All right, congratulations.
All right, thank you very much. All right.